Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Corps studio. Welcome to the show. So, on today's episode, clearly you can see this is going to be something a bit different than what I normally do. And I'm not just talking about the mustache here. That is for Movember. Got a little competition with some friends, and clearly I am winning. Obviously, right? Comment below on your opinion on how awesome my mustache is, right? Anyways, so today's episode again is going to be a bit different. And basically what I'm going to be doing on this episode is just kind of giving you my kind of uncut thoughts on something. So basically kind of like a topic that's just a bit more, maybe more recent, or just something that's been on my mind that I just want to kind of, less of kind of like, planning things out and, exact, bullet points of what I'm going to be saying. But more so, yeah, let's just talk about a brand new topic, especially today, where an article just came out that is pretty impactful, I think. And hopefully it does have an impact with the way that things are going. So I'm kind of just talking around the subject right now. This is one of the problems with, an uncut episode, I guess, but we're trying it out, so here we go. So, an article came out, actually, on CNBC that said, stocks making the biggest moves in the pre-market. Hasbro, OLED, Advanced Micro Devices, and more. Hasbro, obviously, being the important one to us when it comes to, Magic the Gathering. Hasbro, if you didn't know, is the owner of Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering, of, D&D, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in specific in this article, it pointed out, and I'll just read this real quick. Hasbro, the toy maker's stock slid 5.2% in the pre-market following a double downgrade to underperform from buy at Bank of America. The move comes after BofA conducted what it calls a deep dive on Hasbro's Magic the Gathering trading card game business. BofA said Hasbro has been overprinting cards and destroying the long-term value of the business. So that's pretty impactful, again, especially coming from Bank of America, saying, this stock is going to be looking worse and worse because, again, the main product for Hasbro lately when it comes to revenue, I believe, has been Magic the Gathering. It's been driving a ton. Wizards of the Coast has been driving a lot of profitability for Hasbro, whereas their board games lately really haven't been. So over the past few years, they definitely have focused more on Magic the Gathering, and we're going to jump into some of those details here in a bit. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a good sign when it's getting downgraded in that way, and that its stock is sliding because they are realizing what many Magic players have been talking about and realizing for a while now. The amount of cards being printed lately just has been an absurd amount over the past couple of years. Now that comes from new sets, that comes from reprints, that comes from a slew of products, a ton of products, and we'll go through a couple of the. I mean, I try to look back. I couldn't even just name every single product that's come out this year, the main ones even, because there's just been so many lately that even though I do this for a living and I pay attention to what's going on in Magic quite a bit, it's even hard for me to keep up. There was another article, I believe, that was behind a paywall for CNBC as well for their Pro edition. I do not have that, but the lovely people on Reddit have posted some important snippets from that article. The other one is BofA, Bank of America, says Hasbro could fall 34% as company kills Magic the Gathering card game. So this, is a bit more of aggressive of a statement, of more of a take, obviously. Could fall 34%. That's a massive drop. Obviously, Hasbro does not want that to happen. And then also, again, saying that they're killing Magic the Gathering. Well, it's always been a joke over the years, right? Wizards is, killing Magic the Gathering by doing this. They're doing this. They're doing this. And, it's always just kind of, brushed off as, well, is it actually, going to? Magic's just going to keep surviving again and again and again. But, in truth, nothing withstands the test of time, right? Basically, every single company at a certain point is going to fail. And so, is this the beginning of the end? Not sure. It doesn't, seem like a good direction the company's heading in currently, with Hasbro kind of seemingly pushing Wizards of the Coast to print an absurd amount of products, an absurd amount of cards. And again, we'll go through some of the specifics here, and actually even surprise me with the numbers that we're pulling up here. But some highlights from this article real quick. Thank you for Birdie Parpar on Reddit for posting these. Again, because I don't have the pro version of CNBC or whatnot. Analyst Jason Haas downgraded the toy stock to underperform from buy as recent changes to Magic Cards brand amount to Hasbro killing its golden goose. The analyst also slashed his price target from stock to $42 from $73. The new target implies the downside of 33.8% from Friday's close. So yeah, a massive kind of just, this company is going the wrong direction. Again, the golden goose of Hasbro is Magic the Gathering. It's their big revenue generator. And they are, and again, this analyst's words, killing it by, overprinting. Haas also said he is concerned by the company's decisions to release a 30th anniversary set. That includes 4 booster packs for $999. Again, if we heard this, a couple months ago that was going to be happening, be big news. At this point, it was huge news when it happened. We're not surprised that Wizards is going in this direction, that Hasbro is, apparently making Wizards go in this direction. Whatever the actual, choice is, it's kind of absurd. He said that that is excessively high compared to a normal set pack's $5 price. And yeah, I can just imagine, someone reading, this article that is, familiar potentially with, Hasbro as a company, but not exactly familiar with, Magic the Gathering. And just like, okay, so they, put out this product that is $999, and, their normal pack prices are just $5. So quite the jump. And again, with what that product was, it's just very interesting. Let's just say that. Another point, reprints can hurt the secondary sale market because the packs include cards from the reserve list, which is a group of cards Hasbro previously promised to never reprint. Some have argued it's not a true reprint since the anniversary cards cannot be used in tournaments, while others say it doesn't matter because their existence will still drive scarcity and by extension value. Drive down scarcity and by extension value, my apologies. But yeah, again, and we've had this discussion before, at least I have on this channel, basically, that yes, Wizards can say whatever they want to say about a product that they're making. Hey, look, no, this is not breaking the reserve list because, these are not tournament legal. That being said, when it comes to Magic actually, running tournaments that'd be using those cards, there really aren't many tournaments, outside of maybe like Legacy or whatnot that would be using those cards. Commander's not a tournament format. It's the biggest format in Magic right now. And the vast majority of playgroups out there, or people at LGS, are going to be okay with using a proxied version of a card, essentially, especially one that Wizards literally printed themselves. So, yeah, did they break the reserve list? In my opinion, and based off of what Mark Rosewater said, in all those different, I did an entire episode on this, but I think I put up like 7 different quotes from Mark Rosewater. Essentially, it was like, no, like doing a proxy version of this would actually be breaking the reserve list. The gold border ones from the past that we had, in those championship decks, those technically broke the reserve list, and we won't do that again. And then, yeah, with the 30th anniversary basically doing that, obviously, upsetting essentially both sides of collectors and non-collectors at the same stroke. But yeah, it's kind of funny that, again, this analyst is pointing even this out and being like, yeah, this is some shaky ground, and Wizards is, again, in the analyst's words, killing its golden goose. Businesses and collectors would sometimes purposely hold packs to sell later at a high price as demand outpaced supply, he said, but that system is now collapsing due to production increases and the unexpected reprints. Yeah, a lot of unexpected reprints. Again, a good thing for keeping the price of individual cards down, but potentially collectors not obviously liking that as much, or businesses obviously not liking that as much too. He said the changing secondary market could push card collectors to Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Flesh and Blood instead. Meanwhile, Haas said Hasbro could improve its outlook if it has a better slate of releases next year. So, again, if you are a collector, potentially going to one that potentially has more scarcity in certain kinds of products or whatever. I know Pokemon does, or at least please correct me below in the comments below if I'm wrong on this, because I'm not a Pokemon player. But yeah, very special releases for certain cards or whatnot that have a very high price tag. So there is kind of that collectability, kind of like, just very big push for that. Magic does have some of that too, but with overprinting, obviously not helping with that. Then the stock dipped 6.2% in the pre-market. It's down 37.7% this year. So that's not good for Hasbro, obviously. Hasbro didn't immediately respond to the request for comment. That is not surprising at all. But yeah, basically just kind of saying like, hey, things are not looking great. With all these decisions that Hasbro has been making, again, it does seem like Wizards is, or Hasbro, through extension, is trying to just milk, I just lost the words. Just milk its prize cow. It's trying to kill its golden goose just for all the value that it can at the time, and just short-term profits versus long-term essentially profitability, or, what's best for the consumer versus, what's best for this short-term outlook. And it seems like a lot of the decisions made lately, have more so been, revenue focused. Like, how can we get money right now? We went from having, one secret layer, a long time ago, that was the first one, cool, just reprints, whatever. And it being a very, out of nowhere kind of thing that, people were excited about, to it being, okay, yeah, every single month we get 5 new secret layers, essentially. I don't even know how many we have this year, like 70 or so, but yeah, just an absurd amount of products. It's really hard to keep track of. When it comes to number of cards each year, I just typed down on Scryfall. I'm sure I'll put an image up. But basically, year 2022, not reprint. This year alone, we have had, and I guess the year's not out yet, so we still have more potentially. But yeah, just this year, without any reprints, I'm not counting reprints right now, we have 1,946 cards. That is new cards. And again, this is kind of, I'm not going to say it's kind of, making the barrier to entry more difficult, but potentially, because, I mean, you already have a giant card pool that even if you've been playing, since the beginning of Magic, I mean, there's 20,000 plus cards in Magic, right? It's really hard to keep track of everything. You play a game of Commander, and you're probably going to see a card that you're like, okay, I might recognize that card, but what in the world does that do again? Because I'm trying to, keep track of all these other things. So yeah, this year, add to that list, another 1,946 cards. If we look back a year, back in 2021, we even went up from that. That was 1,823. So not a giant jump, but still a jump. And actually, I mean, if you look at, past years previous to that, jumps like this really weren't necessarily a thing, just a giant jump, of, over 100 cards. We go back to 2020. This is where we see a really big jump. Again, 2020, not a reprint on Scryfall. Our number is 1,203 cards. That is a ton in difference between 2020 and 2021. Obviously, it seems like it even slowed down between last year and this year, but yeah, still an extra 100 cards. But yeah, going from 1,200 to 1,800, 600 card jump. And I feel like many players out there, including myself, have definitely felt this and just being like, okay, there's just a lot more to keep track of. And if we go back to, I just kind of threw a year out, 2015, not reprint, we only had 863 cards come up that year. And this, I believe, was kind of around the time when I jumped back into Magic, really. But yeah, like that year, it felt very, and again, I'd been gone from Magic for a little bit and came back. But yeah, like it seemed like I could still grasp, all the new cards. I could grasp, all these things coming in, and I wasn't doing it full time at the time, obviously, with a YouTube channel. But yeah, it was a more consumable amount of cards, and then jumping 5 years later to an extra 400 essentially, then jumping from that, going back from 2015 to this year, an extra 1,100 cards or so. So more than doubling the amount of cards, more than doubling the capacity essentially to understand what's going on, to be able to keep track of all these things. The amount of printing has just been absolutely crazy. I mean, let's take a look at, what products we've had come out this year. And again, I tried to kind of just before I even looked, list them off my head, and I did not get them all. Definitely not. And this isn't even counting secret layers, but here we go. Innistrad double feature, so that's kind of, a reprint from Innistrad. That was a pretty big flop from what I've heard. But yeah, people really like the, hey, it's the new art for these, but it's actually just the old art. But, then just black and white, and not even all that well done from what I heard. Anyways, Commander Collection Black, January 28th. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty came out in February. Streets of New Capenna, April. Baldur's Gate was June 10th. Double Masters 2022 is July 8th. Diamond United was September 9th. Unfinity was October 7th. The Warhammer 40k Universes Beyond was October 7th as well. So yeah, we had just a slew of products coming out then. The Brothers War, November 18th. And then Jumpstart is coming out December 6th. So yeah, I mean, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 products right there. And that doesn't even count, again, any secret layers. I'm sure I'm missing some other things, judge cards, whatever. But yeah, just an absurd amount of products compared to back when it was, okay, yeah, 3 sets and a core set, essentially, is what the products were for the year. So yeah, we've kind of just added an absurd amount. And again, actually, I probably didn't even say this too, but yeah, with each of those kind of main sets, again, Commander Precons on the side of every single one of those as well. So yeah, just an absurd amount of new cards coming out every single year, a lot to keep track of. And when it comes to, building Commander decks as well, obviously when a new exciting Commander comes out, I just feel like in previous years, it was more so like, okay, yeah, I know which ones I want to build. Now it's like, okay, I really want to build this one, but also another set's coming out in a month, and what if I want to build one from that? And I'm not just going to keep building deck after deck after deck. I mean, I'm not sure if you're the same way, but I like to kind of keep track of, okay, I'll have like 9 decks or so that I really focus on, and, I like to try to tune them, and maybe, if I stop playing one of them, then I'll take it away, and then, I'll build a different deck. But I'm not just going to keep building a new deck every single set that I'm going to play with, because I'm probably not going to put as much effort, into playing all the other ones, and I'll forget about other ones, and it's a lot to keep track of. And actually, again, with these new, cards coming in every single set and having an absurd amount of cards every single year, trying to, keep decks updated, which I'm not as great at that as others are. And, sometimes I actually kind of like to just see how a deck evolves and stays, compared to the meta if it stayed out for a year or so. But yeah, just be able to see kind of, what cards would work good with that deck, but then all of a sudden you're ordering that, and then the next set you're ordering these cards for that same deck, and these cards. And if you've got more and more decks, it's just hard to keep track of. Regardless, I'm getting off topic. But yeah, basically, this set, and I just kind of want you to just, in your head, and I try to guess this too, okay, the amount of commanders that came out this year. And the number that I'm getting, at least on Scryfall again, is Commander, year 2022, not reprint. And actually, I took out backgrounds as well, because technically those are, like an addition to a commander or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you can take it or leave it. Here we go. 322 commanders this year. Brand new commanders this year. 322 of them. I mean, at this point in the year, I mean, that's basically, one per day, essentially. And again, that doesn't include backgrounds. If we include that, that would be more than one per day. But yeah, basically, again, just trying to keep track of, all the different commanders, of what they all do, what new ones you might want to do, but then, another one comes out and then you want to build that one too. It just becomes a lot. And again, if we compare this to, historical numbers, so if we go back 1 year even, just 1 year we are going back. A year, 2021, not a reprint, is Commander on Scryfall. We get 193. So that is, I mean, not half, but nearly half of what we got this year. And last year we had a ton already. So yeah, getting an extra 130 commanders, it just seems like, again, this kind of mentality is, more of a good thing is a good thing for, for Wizards right now and for Hasbro. Just, hey, okay, Commander's the most popular format. Let's print things for that. Okay, just give, instead of just doing a precon, a couple precons a year, we're doing precons every single set. We're doing, more and more Commanders every time with everything. And so, yeah, it is exciting at first. But, it's kind of like if you're eating ice cream every day, eventually you're going to get a bit tired of it. At least I would. but yeah, it's hard to keep track of. It's, more of a, cognition load, I think is the term. But yeah, for everyone. And again, it's kind of just your attention kind of just, it's hard to keep focusing on this and being like, okay, yeah, I know what commander I want to build now versus, okay, oh, no, another set. Okay, wait, never mind. Okay, I'm going to scrap this deck I was just building. I'm going to build this one that has a better commander for that. If we go further back, 2020, not a reprint, we have 186 commanders. So again, around the same amount. But to me, this was really when it started jumping, actually, was the 2020, essentially. Because I feel like back in 2019, yeah, look, I just went back 1 year further, 78 commanders. So going from, again, 78 to like 180 commanders, more than doubling between those 2 years, you can really see, at least in my mind, is when, Wizards and, Hasbro or whatnot really start to say, okay, we need to hyper focus on, our, golden goose, essentially. Well, Magic is the golden goose of, Hasbro. The golden goose right now of, Magic itself is, Commander, because it's the most popular format, the most lucrative for them. So yeah, I mean, basically, just saying, okay, we're jumping from a ton of commanders. I mean, again, my year, I just randomly picked, again, 2015, for those reprints. We go back 2015 and see how many commanders came out that year. Again, just take a guess in your mind. Again, this year, 322. That year, too, 2015, 45 commanders. So very, 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 easy to digest. Much easier to, digest. And, maybe that was not enough, because again, you want people to have different play styles in different ways, build around certain commanders, be focused on, different things, because there's just different ways people like to, to approach this game that we all love. But then going from 45 commanders from 2015 to, 2022, 322 commanders, not even including all the background, combinations. Yeah, that is just a lot. That is a ton. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see again how things have changed, how things have evolved over the years. And again, I feel like myself, as well as many others out there, have just even kind of felt, just like the amount of product kind of overload has just been pretty ridiculous over the past, especially 2 years. It just seems like, or things have really kicked it into high gear. I mean, I think ever since, Secret Layers first started coming out, it just kind of sounded like, okay, like, neat, interesting new product, but don't overdo it. And then Wizards definitely has overdone it just a bit. And it's just interesting to see even like Bank of America is noticing this and being like, yeah, they're not focusing on, the long-term longevity of this game and of one of their core products. They are just trying to get as much out of it as they can right now, it seems like. So, again, alarm bells off or whatever, is this the end of Magic? Magic's not just going to be done tomorrow. But again, like I said earlier, nothing is permanent. There is not one company in history that is going to survive the entire test of time and, not just go under or whatnot. So, yeah, at some point, yes, Magic will go away. Something else will replace it, essentially. Now, is that in 10 years? Is that in 20 years? Is that next year? Probably not next year, but yeah, is it... it's not trending in the right direction, I would say, and it's going to be interesting to see if Wizards tries to kind of, right the ship, if they try to, really get the, product overload, under control, essentially, or if, again, if this is, more of Hasbro pushing them, be like, no, we need more revenue from you. You need to make this many products. You need to do this. Yeah, there are just, obviously there's other forces at play here, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the next moves for, this game that we all love is going to be. So yeah, not trying to be a downer on my first Uncut episode or whatnot. Just it's interesting to see even those outside of playing the game necessarily of Magic the Gathering are noticing kind of these trends. So yeah, it's exciting to see that others are noticing. I guess exciting is kind of a word that I don't know. Again, exciting. It's kind of scary as well. That's like, oh yeah, they're right as well. That this is not a good direction for Hasbro, and they might continue doing this. And we'll see. So yeah, I apologize for rambling on. It's the first time doing one of these kind of uncut episodes. I'd love to hear from you. So let me know in the comments below, what your thoughts on this kind of episode are. When news like this kind of comes out, do you want me to kind of handle it this way and kind of tackle things this way? Do you enjoy kind of just hearing me kind of off the cuff talking about this kind of stuff? Or would you like a more kind of, bullet, point laid out approach, of, one of my other kinds of episodes or one of styles of episodes? So yeah, just let me know in the comments below. Please don't be too harsh on my mustache. Again, it's just a competition with some friends, and I'm definitely winning, right? So yeah. Anyways, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.